A very good afternoon to you all. Thank you for watching UBC television with me, Wadulo Mark Arnold. This is your lunchtime news this second day of September 2022. Welcome, and we now give you the news in detail. To start off, Parliament has expressed dissatisfaction over the proposed fee for the replacement of national identification cards. In the new government proposal, replacement of a national ID will cost 200,000 shillings. While appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs, Minister for Internal Affairs General Kahinda Otafire and officials at the National Identification and Registration Authority maintained government's position on the projected enhanced national identification cards. We have a detailed report.
Kahinda Otafire, the Minister for Internal Affairs, and officials from National Identification and Registration Authority had a long engagement with the Parliamentary Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs to defend the proposed changes on the National Identification Card.
National ID is a security element, and where there is a security element, security organs should be involved. That's why the police and the intelligence and other security agencies will be involved in the identification of citizens.
A new round of the national identification is projected to start in June 2023 as the current IDs are to expire in 2024. The enhanced national IDs will have special features including individual DNA, which are a result of changes in technology.
If there is a dispute that you are a Zimbabwean and you say I'm a Ugandan, don't you think your DNA will solve the problem?
In the revised plan, government intends to generate revenue of up to 160.4 billion from individuals accessing both express IDs and express renewal of IDs, which respectively cost 50,000 shillings each.
The first one is those who require express first-time enrollment of national ID. The assumed number is about 10%. If each paid 50,000, the projected number is 1.7, which is 10%, which will generate 86 billion. Express renewal also this paying the same, an estimated number 1.5 will generate 75 billion.
National IDs issued with mistakes are also catered for.
The information captured on the form is also captured by the system. So if the system discovers that the mistake was done in-house, you will not be charged. You already be charged for mistakes you yourself made.
Contention still rocks the replacement bit in case one misplaces his or her national ID. The proposed plan puts a fee of 200,000 shillings to access the service.
We think it is unfair, it is being inconsiderate, and we shall come the floor of Parliament. I don't think it will be accepted by members of Parliament, the floor, that people are extremely poor and then you charge them.
Look at those unemployed youth that don't have access to income. Where are they going to get 200,000 shillings to replace an identity card? I think they are thinking outside of the reality.
If you think it's too much, don't lose your ID. If you think it's too much, then don't lose your ID. The best way to avoid that 200,000 is not to lose your ID.
The mass renewal and enrollment exercise will kickstart between the periods of June 2023 to August 2024. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
I think it's too much, don't lose your ID, words from Kahinda Otafire. The Civil Military Cooperation CMIC contingent of Uganda People's Defence Forces, UPDF, has concluded a medical camp as part of the 4th EAC Armed Forces Day in Tanzania. The event is held on an annual and rotational basis to foster cooperation between the people of East African partner states and their respective defence forces. These are the details.
UPDF medical teams and Tanzania People Defence Forces pitched camp at Impendia Hospital to offer free outreach and medical services ranging from dental care to minor surgeries. UPDF contingent is led by Brigadier General Emmanuel Rwashande and deputized by Colonel Dr. Ambrose Oyiko.
Our aim was basically to provide primary health care, which basically involves treatment of common ailments at the outpatient department, where for the last 3 days we have been able to capture around 999 clients.
The medical team conducted 8 successful minor operations, besides the over 400 patients who benefited from the laboratory services.
A good platform of sharing best practices and enhancement of joint operations for the benefit of East African people, and are held under the spirit of the East African Protocol on Cooperation in Defense Affairs.
Brigadier General Rashande extended his sincere gratitude to the management and staff of Mpendia Level 2 Hospital for the good hospitality and teamwork.
Strengthening the cause of East African community, unity, common defense, security, peace, development, and common market for our people. A joint participation is a strong foundation of the cherished unity, peace, and stability, and a strength for the defense of common interests of our people.
Safari hii tumejikita katika kutoa huduma ya afya.
Tanzania People Defense Forces conducted their camp at Mbagiria, Kenya Defense Forces at Kibaha Hospital, Rwanda Defense Forces at Bagamoyo Hospital, Burundi National Defense Forces in Bagomeni, Dar es Salaam, while South Sudan People's Defense Forces conducted their medical camp at Kigaboni. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
Furthermore, the Ministry of Ethics and Integrity has piqued interest in the matter regarding Chintu Kevin's video that went viral across social media platforms as he assaulted his followers in Chesiga, Hoima. There's an order to bring him to book for being a public nuisance.
A video of an evangelist, Chintu Kevin, assaulting his followers in Chesiga has been circulating on social media platforms, attracting intense criticism from the public.
This is not wanted, this is something unwanted, and we as a ministry are following it. My technical people have already taken up the issues, because it is not something which is proper, and it is not something which is supposed to be done by a person.
Speaking to the State Minister for Ethics and Integrity, Rose Lily Akelo, she condemned the act and the ministry has already begun its investigation into this matter.
It's absurd that the man who claimed, I can say claimed to be the man of God, goes on caning people in a church. I have never seen it in life. I have never seen it in history. But this was so sad that the Christians who are supposed to go and pray to God and ask for God's blessings and ask for God's forgiveness is being beaten by a pastor.
Technical people from the ministry have taken up this issue to know whether this church was registered with the NGO board.
You ever seen in any church when a bishop or a priest beats the Christians? No. So we have taken up the issue, following up with the NGO board, whether they are registered or they are not registered, to get the root cause and see how to handle that situation, because it is not good.
Joseph Muyingo compiled this report.
The Deputy Chief Justice Richard Butera has urged courts of law and police to stick to giving bail and bond in presence of all parties involved in the case. Justice Butera says that this will paint a good picture for police and courts of law, as well as the justice system to the complainant. Butera was officiating an open-day court session in Bujiri district.
People that file cases at police and courts of law face difficulties with failure to understand procedures on how to attain justice. It's against this background that the Bujiri Magistrate Court has set up a court open day session with the aim of embracing reforms to ensure access to justice for all people.
And paid. They will run to other district RDC. But also
the court open day session has attracted the community. In their opinion, a lot of questions have been raised attached to injustice exposed while giving bond and bail.
We've been seeing people move outside after a complainant complaining and is arrested. After a few days, you will have to see the suspect moving freely without the complainant's notice. But for today's case, I've learned that both the parties must be aware of the bail.
Granting bail and granting bond should be done in a transparent manner. and explained to the population so that they understand that the person who is released on court bond is not set free. He will still have the case heard, it will be concluded. If he is guilty, he will be punished. If he is innocent, he will be set free. And this should be done in open court because you have a right to apply for bail. When you apply for bail, you should get bail unless there is a reason why that bail should be denied, and the reason is for the decision should be given in open court.
Justice Butera pointed out issues the judiciary system is working on, like setting up high courts, court of appeal and magistrate courts in every district to ensure quick service delivery.
We shall increase the number of high court judges from 83 to 151.
Other issues like lack of a remand home in the Busoga region has been spotted out to be one of the factors influencing crime.
We have so many victims of gender-based violence. If, in addition to the remand home, we also get the opportunity of having a reception center, then you shall have really done us a very big service.
Human rights defenders saying absence of a remand home in the area has also attracted many children on streets who later participate in different offenses.
Also, the presence of a remand home would also mean that the children who are in conflict with the law, at least if they know that there is a remand home in place, they'll keep away from those crimes because they know they have somewhere where they are going to be put. But now, right now that there is no remand home, they know even if they are arrested too, they'll be released because they will not be put anywhere. So the presence of a remand home in Iganga or in Jinja or in Bujiri will deter crime from these children because they know they have to be put somewhere and they will not be released back to the communities where they can again continue committing crime.
Buganda Road Court has sentenced 2 men over killing 6 climbing lions in Ishasha Queen Elizabeth National Park. Magistrate Gladys Kamasanyu, in sentencing them, noted 8 years, said that like human beings, animals have a right to live.
Tumuhira Vincent and Ario Robert were convicted last week on offences of entering into a wildlife area without permission, hunting and killing of animals, and unlawful possession of animal species. State submitted that such cases are rampant and paid for a deterrent sentence to the convicts. However, during mitigation, counsel for the convicts asked court to give them a second chance since they were first-time offenders. In delivering her sentence in this matter, Magistrate Gladys Kamasanyu noted that under no circumstances should the convicts have killed the climbing lions, since they also have a right to life.
Whatever the prevailing circumstances at the time of this offense, a man who is not a killer would not be tempted to launch an attack to a fierce carnivore like a lion. No.
Kamasanyu also noted that the selfish act of killing the lions affected the nature and the experiential tourism of the country, hence affecting its economy.
Unfortunately, the population of tree-climbing lions in Queen Elizabeth National Park is shrinking at a fast speed. So the revenue that would be accruing from their tourism also goes down.
With this, Magistrate Kamasanyu sentenced the convicts to 8 years and 7 months in prison to deter the would-be perpetrators of killers of animals.
Animals too have interest in their own lives. Like humans, they don't want to die. They would not wish to be brutally murdered. They were immense, they were a lot, like seeing their own die helplessly.
Tumuhira Vincent and Ario Robert killed the 6 climbing lions in 2021 at Queen Elizabeth National Park in Kasese District. Natang Rebecca, UBC News.
We'll now take a short commercial break and be back with more lunchtime news. Stay tuned.
Vimba ni
MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make
The
calls,
lion,
update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Nivana wafe twenywele, nivana wafe twenywele, nivana wafe tunyola. For more goals, kumara kenyonta.
Nirvana packaged drinking water is a product of Crown Beverages Limited, makers of Pepsi products. That's life. That's Nirvana.
Leaders who care create a good learning environment.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Oh, Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, Nga, you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello, is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show, because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Welcome back. You're still watching the lunchtime news here at Uganda Broadcasting Corporation Television. Ways in which Uganda should leverage integration at both the regional and continental levels have been highlighted at the second day of the 6th High-Level Economic Growth Forum. Topics ranging from foreign direct investment, economic free zones, taxation and trade agreements were discussed.
How much does government influence and direct FDIs to align them with our country's potentials and added advantages?
As Uganda continues to accommodate foreign direct investment, policymakers have been tasked to pay keen interest to their impact on the local economy so as to influence appropriate and favorable policy measures.
So while foreign investment in Uganda has been increasing in recent years, what this investment looks like and the extent to which it's yielding significant returns for the local economy has been largely an open question. And so the analysis that we do tries to fill this gap by leveraging detailed tax administration data and linking this with data on foreign direct investment in Uganda.
We need to see FDI more integrated and with significant linkages to the local economy, backward demand linkages. When we do this, that will enhance the productivity of the real economy, especially from the small and micro enterprises.
Attracting more investment into special economic zones will boost Uganda's manufacturing and export capacity. In financial year 2019-2020, Uganda Free Zone's contribution to total export earnings increased to $1.247 billion from $154 million.
Most of our imports are coming in from China, and that's largely derived from a lot of the establishment of the free zones that were set up in that country. Just visiting Guangzhou many years ago, you just see hundreds and hundreds of acreage of some of that free zones of literally anything. Now we have 32 free zones, and I think Mr. Alinda will talk about it. But what is very interesting is the fact that this has increased our capital investment to close to $587 million, which is, if you look at the trajectory, it means there's been a steady growth, albeit the fact that it started not very long ago.
At the conference, some investors have been faulted for trying to outsmart the law in order to leverage more profitable policies.
For example, export of unprocessed minerals is banned in this country. But then you find someone wanting to get a free zones license to export unprocessed, so circumventing the rules. And I also noticed that people used to enjoy tax holidays. After they end, now they want the same business to be registered as a special in a special economic zone so that they can continue enjoying.
It is important to note that by the end of the financial year 2021-22, Uganda's GDP per capita stood at $1,046. Wadulo Arnold, UBC News in Kampala.
Now, Voices of Labour Limited, Uganda Market and Allied Employees Union and Uganda Artisans and General Workers Union have signed a petition to the Commercial Court challenging the provisions of the Labour Union Act of 2016. This follows allegations of mistreatment while on duty, seeking for formal representation.
The first petition seeks to challenge some provisions in the Labour Unions Act No. 7 of 2006 that exclude workers in the informal economy from enjoying their freedom to join or form a labour union for purposes of representation and collective bargaining.
So we have finished the online filing. You need to look at livelihood. There should be a balance between regulation and protection. The voice of the people that they seek to regulate should be heard. It should really be heard. If the Constitution talks about the role of people in development, formulating policies, then the Ministry of Local Government needs to involve the vendors or the informal economy workers in whatever plans they come up with. And I think if there is enough consultation, when they do enough consultations, even the resistance can be minimal.
The petition also seeks to challenge certain provisions of the Employment Act No. 6 of dispute settlement and arbitration.
Since January, over 2,000 vendors were arrested and remanded. And we have, as Voices, we have managed to only help about 168. So another challenge the street vendors face, of course, is access to justice.
The second petition seeks to challenge the eviction of street vendors without providing with them a viable alternative for their socio-economic survival. And it challenges some provisions of the Trade Licensing Act as amended in 2015.
Concerted efforts should be rallied to either skill or retool so that these people are able to engage in better productive activities.
It should be noted that 87% of Uganda's labor force is in the informal economy, and they contribute more than 50% of the gross domestic product, yet their interests and rights are not recognized and protected under the law.
People cannot enter into these markets because they are charged. They are over or excessively charged. The market management collects money. The municipal councils collects money from the same vendor. Then even when you are inside the market, the stall or the shop is owned by one of the council members.
Workers in the informal economy find themselves outside formal arrangements and are often on the edge of high vulnerability to poverty, low earnings, and bad working conditions. Petitioners believe that the fundamental rights and freedom of workers in the informal economy should be protected, and their rights as enshrined in the Constitution. Workers in the informal economy should be able to access safety nets, access to basic social protection, among others. They have faith that this will be possible through the judicial system of Uganda. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Yes, and that brings us to the end of our lunchtime news this afternoon. Thank you for being a lovely audience. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold. Stay tuned for more news in our subsequent bulletins.